Hey everyone, I'm back. Earlier I talked about Knuckles and how far he'd come. And I think I just recently talked about how Knuckles and Julie Sue got together in the Knuckles comic book, like as a couple. And, well, and I'm trying to think. Oh yes, now I remember what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about a situation where Knuckles got into that almost, well, didn't kill off his character completely, but kind of, well, what happened is that in the backstories of the Knuckles stories in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, after his, series was canceled, Knuckles had somehow become a living Chaos Emerald. That's right. Instead of being like pink or hyphen or whatever color he is when he goes hyper, he was green, a living Chaos Emerald. Which meant, I don't know what the writers were thinking at the time when they came up with this. But anyway, Knuckles had become a living Chaos Emerald. Now, because of this, we didn't know what. No one, not even me, knew what this was going to lead. Unfortunately, what it led was the writers killing off his character. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, Knuckles is still around. How did they kill off his character? Well, what happened is in the story, his character was killed off, but, his physical being of the character was killed off, but he was still around, sort of as a spirit. And what happened is that he met up with this overall spirit named Aurora, who obviously is an echidna who can take the form of any, creature there is, but met up with Aurora in echidna form. Now, what happens is that Aurora shows him everything that has happened in his past. Oh, not just in his past, but what's currently going on. To the point that finally he accepts, temporarily accepts, temporarily he accepts becoming one with the universe. So in other words, Aurora convinces him to take the next step in evolution and become one with the universe, which he does for a time. And I think that's in issue 124, 123. I can't really remember. However, 125 marks his return into a physical being, into physical form, when as one with the universe, he detects something's wrong or something bad is going to happen, and that his friends will need him. So, instead of staying as one with the universe, as Aurora had suggested, he ends up doing what Aurora tried to keep hidden from him, and that's take a second chance at life, but at a cost. At a cost. You see, Dimitri, I think that's who it was, Dimitri. Well, not Dimitri, but somebody. I can't think of his name. It wasn't Dimitri, but it was somebody else. Can't think of his name right now. Ather, there it is, Ather. Ather is his name, or Athar, whatever his name is. It wasn't Dimitri, it was Athar. It was Ather. And what Athar did, he says that yes, Knuckles can get a second chance at life, but it would be at a price. And that price, upon his return to try to help his friends, was his powers. Now, this went on for a time. Knuckles didn't have his powers. Even when Sonic came back from being in outer space for a while, Knuckles still didn't have his powers. Now, I can't remember. Now, I think it was the story arc Return to Angel Island in which Knuckles got his powers back. Now, that's what happened. It was the story arc Return to Angel Island when Knuckles got his powers back. And then for a time, in between then, the home arc, which he was a part of, him and the Chaos were a part of, and Return to Angel Island, island, even afterwards, the characters were sort of, Knuckles and the Chaos was sort of, you know, in and out kind of deal. They were kind of an in and out sort of situation. Now, however, Knuckles did play a big role. Well, sort of. In the 3-part saga, which started in 175. Basically, what that did is it made Knuckles, along with Amy, Tails, and Sonic, the only ones that had avoided transportation into the egg grapes. Apes by Dr. Robotnik. And it was with Sonic, Amy, and Tails that he was able to free everybody that had been captured. Now, not only did he free everyone, the one that had been captured, not only did he free everyone, captured along with the help of Sonic, Tails, and Amy. But again, after that, for a while, they weren't seen. They were kind of in and out. Until I think it was at the end, or wait a minute, actually it was at the beginning. Well, Knuckles actually, like I said, it was in and out, but it was actually at the beginning of the 2-part story of Sonic vs. Tails, Friends No More, whatever you want to call it, of 178 and 179, then Knuckles returned to Angel Island. And then we find out in the most recent story, which was the Urjack Rebirth story, or Reborn story, that Knuckles had been manipulated and tricked by Dr. Fentivius, I didn't tell you to spell his name, into absorbing the power of the Master Emerald into him. However, unknown to Knuckles, Fentivius had used some kind of dark magic on the Master Emerald that would help influence Knuckles into becoming the new Urjack. And then Knuckles, obviously, now not in his right mind, thinking that this is probably the best thing I could do to kind of help out the situation, in which the doctor, if you will, made him believe he needed to fix. Now, for 4 issues, Knuckles was Urjack. Well, 3.5 actually, because he didn't really become Urjack until the end. But for about 3.5 issues, he was Urjack. And he had powers, even more, and his powers even made Shadow's powers look normal, if you know what I mean. But for a while, you know, but like I said, for 3.5 issues, he was Urjack, and he was the most powerful being. And I'll be back with part 3 on this.